Hey Spirit family, today I'm not bringing a channeled message. However, sometimes even though that's not the intention, it'll just come through in the middle of making the videos. So if they do come in, that's just a bonus. But the intention behind making today's video is to take you guys along the process of making the spirit sprays. And I'm sharing this for two reasons. One, so that you can see all that goes into making the sprays, but also in hopes of inspiring you guys to play around and make yours, even though maybe playing around is not the correct word, because when I make the sprays, I'm actually making them, as most of you guys already know, with specific intentions and purposes. And usually it's what Spirit is guiding me to make them for. So right now I'm actually in a nearby local mountain where I normally come to harvest the sage and other plants that I use for these sprays. So first thing that I want to share is the importance of when you are harvesting, that one, you have permission to harvest from the land. And the second thing is that before you actually start harvesting, that you offer some sort of exchange to the plant. So you want to be mindful that they are alive and that they have a spirit. So offering tobacco is usually one of the things that we do, meaning Ona and myself. It's part of the tradition, the indigenous culture of offering tobacco for different reasons, whether it's a prayer, or an exchange of energy. So in this instance, you're asking permission. So you want to have that exchange, that offering. If you don't have tobacco, you can also offer other things like maybe water, a prayer, a song. But the point is, you want to acknowledge and honor that spirit. And so right now I am about to harvest some sage. Another thing that you want to be mindful of is not to ever harvest more than you need. Or so, for example, the purpose of me harvesting sage right now is just to make a batch of the sprays. So I'm not going to go in and start taking a bunch when, one, again, it's about being mindful. You want to make sure that you don't hurt the plant and that you are always leaving enough for the next people that need that medicine, but also for it to continue to flourish and grow. So be mindful of what you're taking. So you make your offering, and then what I was taught is you don't take from the same plant that you made the offering to, but you go a couple of plants over, and that's where you start your harvesting. Another thing that I kind of want to just add is that if you're able to grow your own medicine, your own plants, that's even better. I mean, that's probably the first thing that I'm going to recommend for you guys to do, is to just have a garden, especially if you know that you're constantly going to be using it for different uses, different reasons. If you're like me and you're always using sage for the purpose of healing or ceremonies or making the sprays, then you want to have your own garden. So I just wanted to share with you guys where I'm at, how beautiful it is. And this here are the sage plants. So as you can see, there isn't very many, but there's enough for me to harvest from, because one thing I did not mention is that you want to make sure that when you are harvesting, that you're harvesting from mature plants. So you never want to harvest from the young plants. You want to give them an opportunity to fully grow and be strong and healthy before you harvest them. Hey, okay, so I'm back, and I just want to continue sharing with you guys the process of making the sprays. So we've already harvested the plants, and the next step is making the products. So the first thing that I like to do when I'm going to start making the products is I like to smudge. So you may have noticed that in my other videos where I'm channeling, I always have instant burning. And for me, that's a very important part of just my work in general, but also in when you're creating something or making something, or if you're doing a healing, you want to make sure that the space is clear, but also your energy is also clear. So I always start by smudging myself, clearing the space, and then in this case, because we're making sprays, then I also like to smudge all the stuff that I'm going to be using to make the sprays. So any containers, whatever tools you're using to make the sprays, then I smudge them as well. So always check in to see where your energy is. That's, the next thing, or maybe the first step actually, is make sure that you are in a good place energetically, emotionally, mentally, because you have to remember whatever you're going to be creating, and whatever energy you're in, that's what you're going to be putting into that product or into your spirit spray. So make sure that you are in alignment, that your energy is high, and that you're not emotionally imbalanced, because the last thing you want to do is have that energy going into your sprays, because you remember you're going to be using them for a while. So if you're have that energy and then you're using it in future, then that's the energy that you're spraying all over yourself in your space. So just be mindful of that. And then you want to make sure you have everything you're going to need available to you. So that means any containers and all your medicine, the essence, the scents, whether they're oils, if you're going to be using spices, all that you're going to have available, and you're going to have your container. And then you want to decide, are you going to be using alcohol or are you going to be using water? Some people prefer to use the pure essence of the water, but just have to be mindful that the life of the product is probably not going to last as long, so you're going to have to go through it quicker. And that's okay too. If you're going to use it like in your bath water, then you can do that too. If you wanted to just put like a little bit in there for the essence of it, you could do that. Which I want to kind of just, since I'm on that topic, share that you guys can actually make infused water with these plants, with these medicines, to help your physical body in different ways. That could be a whole other video, but just because I kind of brought that up, know that you could very well use these plants and herbs to also make yourself some essential baths and help your energy and really bring that healing into your physical body as well. Now with that, you want to make sure that you're not going to get anything that's going to stain your bathtub. So I will say that, just I don't want anybody saying, hey, you told me to do this, now my bathtub is ruined. So just be mindful of that could potentially happen. So going back to the sprays, once you've established which plants, what essence, what oils you're going to be using, and you have it all together, then make sure you have a container where it's going to go into. And that's whether you're making a individual spray, meaning like a one-time use spray, or if you're making a batch for several several sprays, then you want to make sure you have a container that's going to hold the liquid and the plants that are going to go into it. So you want to, again, be aware of your energy. Oh, one thing I wanted to speak into is that for me personally, I like making my products when I do candle prayers or meditation or any specific manifestation of healing for clients. I like doing the work during grandmother full moon. And the reason for that is because for me, I like to incorporate the energy to magnify the intention or the prayer of what I'm doing or the work that I'm doing. I know that for some people the energy is a little bit too intense and they prefer not to work with that energy, and they prefer to create stuff during the new moon. So if that's you like to work with the new moon, that's perfectly fine. It's your preference, your choice. It's not gonna take away from your product. It just, whatever you resonate with, that's what you want to go with. Because again, this is I'm sharing this with the intention of inspiring you guys to tap into your own creation and just really put together what works for you guys and what you guys need for your energy, for your peace, for your physical being, for whatever intention that you are putting these sprays together for. So the products that you're going to be using, just be mindful. Okay, why do I want to use this, or what speaks to you? So whatever plants are speaking to you, then use that. So for that reason, I'm not going to give you the products or the mixtures that I use in my spirit sprays, because again, I want you guys to create your own, but I'm just walking you through the process of it. So grandmother moon is always when I do the work. Now, the times that I will not work or do or make these sprays is if my energy is not in alignment, as I mentioned, but also if I'm on my moon cycle. So that is my feminine cycle, because that's a time of purification, and I'm naturally detoxifying. And so the last thing I want is for that energy to go into the products that I'm making. So just be mindful of that, ladies. If you guys are working and creating something, that you're not allowing that energy to go into whatever it is that you're creating. So those are a couple of things to kind of notate. So now you have all your stuff, you have your containers, and throughout the duration of the time, again, you want to have your incense burning. If you feel guided to, you don't have to, but again, you're creating something that is going to be magnified with that current energies that you're in at that moment of creating. So you want to make sure that there isn't anything that's going to affect or just kind of throw off the energy of the space. So for me, I always have it burning, just to make sure that everything's constantly vibrating at high energy. And so during the process of putting in all your medicine or your plants, it is a prayer, it is an intention throughout the process. So make sure that there isn't any distractions or anything loud in the background that is low vibration, like the news or people arguing or anything like that. So you want to make sure that you're in a space that is good, and just focus your prayers as you're putting in all your plants and all your essence, all your essential oils, and all that great stuff that you're putting in there. So one thing I want to touch on is when you harvest your plants, again, you want to be mindful how much you're making. So don't harvest a lot if you're not going to be making a lot. And always check in with the spirit of the medicine to see if they're okay being used, because all that matters. And so if you're going to make a larger batch, honestly, even this is too much, just depending on how much you make. But about this much is all you need for a very small batch. And I'm talking about like maybe 10 sprays, especially if you're going to be adding other stuff. But the larger amount that you make, obviously you want to put more in. Now, if you're going to make individual amount or sprays, then all you need to do is take some of the leaves. I like to take I forgot the correct word, but you know what I'm saying, to like kind of mash it, and then it'll release the essence of it, and then drop it in there. And so you're going to do that to every spray bottle that you make if you're going to make individual ones. Otherwise, again, you want to put it all in a big container if you're going to be making a few, and just put everything in there. And then once all the mixture is put together, then what I do next is, at the end, I like to take some time, some few minutes, and really just pray over it. So for example, this is one that I made yesterday. So this is already done. It has, the mixtures here, everything that Spirit asked me to utilize, I have it in here. And so at the end, I take my time and I really just channel some prayers, some good intentions, and just focus on infusing and charging it with, the positive energy. And then I always light a candle, let Grandfather fire bless it with its medicine, and really just be mindful of the process, because again, you're making these sprays that you're going to be using continuously to bring in whatever your intention was. Again, whether it's for protection or clearing or bringing in relaxation, then that's what it's going to be infused with for the future. So make sure that when you're charging it, your energy is good. I know I keep saying it, but it's very, very important. And so what I wanted to say about the plants is that some people like to wait a day or two before they use the plants, before they soak them, right? Before they do their infusion. Sometimes I wait a day and sometimes I don't. I just kind of check in with the spirit of the plant, and if it's okay with them, then I utilize it. So for example, this time I didn't wait the day, and I felt okay to, because I wanted to use the blessings of the rain. So I don't know if you noticed on the previous video when I was harvesting, it was raining out. And so I was super excited to use the blessings of the thunder beans that was charged and infused into the sage. And so I went ahead and did that. And then I just knew that, having those two medicines and then Grandmother Moon's energy was going to magnify this particular batch. So, that just takes practice. It takes you really checking in and having a relationship with the plants, with the elements, because again, all of it is medicine. And so when you create everything, you want to be mindful of everything that you're putting into it. So for me, if I can use the elements, then I'll use the elements. Like for example, again, the rain, the Grandfather Fire, the essence of Grandmother Moon. And so you really, really are building the energy of what you're creating into these products. So at the end, I sit and I infuse it with the prayers, and I turn on the candle, and then I leave the candle on for a few hours. Once in a while, I might leave it on overnight. It just depends on the strength of the energy. So if I feel like I want to leave it on a little bit longer just to get it charged up a little bit more, then I will. But if not, then that's, I'll just turn it off. So this particular batch, I didn't feel the need to, because again, it was already charged with so much beautiful blessings and energy from the rain, the mountain, so earth, Grandmother Moon, and I felt strong in my energy, that I just felt like I didn't need to leave the candle on all night long. So now that it's done and everything's in here, then what I recommend is that you allow for it to be integrated, meaning the prayers, the essence of all the medicine that you used, to really be released and charged and integrated here for 28 days. So whole full moon cycle. So that way you really, really know that it's just has the best charge and energy in it before you actually use it. Sometimes once in a while I'll have 2 weeks and then I feel okay with it. But again, I'm always checking in with Spirit, and if Spirit says yes, it's fine, then I'll do 2 weeks. But I shouldn't really be telling you that, because if you leave it for the 28 days, that's even better. But again, if you're intuitive, check in with your helpers, with your spirit guides, check in with the plants, and they'll let you know if it's been sitting there enough or not. Then other than that, I think at the end, then you just transfer it into their individual containers and they're ready to go. So yeah, just really check in to see what type of medicine you're being called to use, and remember to use the plants that are more they're more abundant. There's more of them, and don't take too much of them. And also, it's important for you to be aware of the energy of where the plants are. So for example, I don't really like to use the or harvest from the plants that are in like public places. like for example, maybe a sidewalk and people are constantly walking past it, or the cars are driving past it and releasing all that smog. I prefer to use some that are maybe in someone's backyard, and that they don't have that much energy or influence from other stuff that are constantly going through it. So just be mindful of those kind of things too. And as I said in the previous video, if you can grow your own, then that's probably the best, because you know what's going into it. You know the love that you're investing, and the time, and just the way that you're taking care of them as they grow. So that's always the best way to go. And then just know that the sprays are really, really also nice to have, because if you can't burn incense, then it's always nice to have these as an alternative for indoor purposes. But also the scent of the sprays, they stimulate your mind. They really stimulate your mind, and that's why some of the fragrances bring relaxation to you. So there's so many benefits to creating these sprays, not just clearing the space, but it really helps calm the mind, your energy. So again, just have a relationship with the ingredients or the products that you're going to be putting into them, because it's really going to affect you on multiple layers. So I think I covered everything. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below and share what creations you came up with. I'm so excited to hear about them. And the last thing that I want to share with you guys is some of you have been following me for a while, and so you guys are aware that we have our own line of products. And we normally always have 3 available, which is the protection spray, the lavender spray, and the sage spray. And those are available on the website if you feel called to purchase some of our products. And then occasionally we come up with a what I like to call a special edition product, and that's usually something that Spirit just puts in my heart to bring to you guys. And the last couple of years, I've offered the Prosperity Gold, and that one is almost just about done. And the oil itself is not going to be coming back, unfortunately. So those of you who received it, you guys received the blessings of my grandmother, because she's in spirit world, but she's who gave me the the ingredients to put in it. So it's really her blessings that you guys received. And so I'm kind of sad that the oil won't be available, but the spray may come back next year. So whenever I get these specific downloads for specific spirit sprays, usually I can only offer them for a certain period of time, and I can only make a certain amount. And so once they're sold out, they're sold out. And so this time around, I'm super excited that I was gifted the Peace and Love Spirit Spray. And so this is the very first time that I made it. And so you guys already got a sneak peek. This is what I was actually holding up. And I'm so excited to share it and bring it to you guys, because, oh my gosh, as you guys know, we absolutely, the collective right now, needs prayers and energy to bring that peace, to bring love. And so the intention with this spray is to raise vibration, the collective vibration, but also just to bring peace and love into your space, into your homes, into your hearts. So it's not particularly to bring love into your, like a partner into your life, although that may very well happen. But I just want to make it clear that this is for a general bringing in of love of all relationships. So if you feel called to purchase one of these, this one won't be available on the website, because again, I can only sell a certain amount, and I want to make sure I keep track of how many are sold. So I will leave my email below, and just email, let me know that you're interested in buying one, and I'll help you out with that. And then if you're interested in buying any of the other products, any of the other sprays, then you can follow the link to my website, which I'll also share below. So anyways, thank you if you made it to the end. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I hope that you guys received some insight and information and inspiration to make your own products. Until next time, love you guys.